Shalom. Thanks for joining me. Well, it is chapter 16 in Numbers I'm about to read. And I did chapter 15 just a moment ago, so I'm going to keep these videos a little short so you don't have to be stuck here for an hour or so like we do on Sunday morning when you're stuck in Bible class with me. So what I want to do now is just talk about Numbers 16 briefly, be a short video on that. In chapter 16, you have the rebellion of Korah, K-O-R-A-H in English. Korach, K-O-R-A-C-H would be Hebrew. Korah was the son of Yesar, it says the son of Chat, the son of Levi, along with Datan and Avaram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Pelet. Descendants of Reuben took men and rebelled against Moshe. Siding with them were 250 men of Israel's leaders. So this is a major revolt against the leadership of Moses. And these are not just anybody. These are people who are members of the priestly tribe of Levi. And they are also, some of them are descendants of Reuben, which is another one of the tribes, right? So they got to thinking that they were also special. But he didn't just get the handful. He got 250 men. This is a major rebellion against the leadership of Moses. Up until then, it's been some people, or maybe the whole community, but it's clearly been not quite the same as this. This is very qualitatively different kind of a rebellion. And so they approached Moses and Aaron. They said, you take too much on yourselves. After all, the entire community is holy, and every one of them, and Adonai is among them. So why do you lift yourselves up above Adonai's assembly? So their argument was, what makes you, Moses and Aaron, think you're so special? We are all God's people. We are all holy. And so this is an interesting approach. It said Moses heard this. He fell on his face. Then he said to Korah and his whole group, in the morning, Adonai will show who are his and who is the holy person he will allow to approach him. So Moses falls on his face in prayer. I like the way he reacts to that circumstance, by the way. That's a lesson for us to pick up on, by the way. How did you and I react to circumstances in our life? Yeah, that Moses fell on his face in prayer. And then he gets up and he has an answer from God. He said, tomorrow morning, God is going to reveal who the ones are holy and who the ones he will listen to and who he will allow to approach him. And so they had these censers, which is what the device that they held in their hands, and it burned incense, so it produced that smoky incense. So he said, take censers, Korah and all your group, put fire in them and put incense in them before Adonai tomorrow. The one whom Adonai chooses will be the one who is holy. It is you sons of Levi, who are taking too much on yourselves. So he's saying to them, just because you're a member of the tribe of Levi doesn't mean you have special privileges that some of us who are also members of the tribe of Levi, some of us and the members of the tribe of Levi do have special privileges because God has called us and anointed us in a way that he hasn't done so with you. And that's important to recognize. So Moses says to Korah, listen here, you sons of Levi. Is it for you a mere trifle that the God of Israel has separated you from the community of Israel to bring you close to himself, so that you can do the work in the tabernacle of Adonai and stand before the community serving them? He's brought you close, and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you. Now you want the office of Kohen too? Kohen is a Hebrew word for the priestly part. These are the folks who actually make the sacrifices and from which the high priest comes from, and he's the one that goes behind the veil and presents the blood of an innocent lamb once a year on the day of Yom Kippur. And he's the only one that's allowed to go in there and to the Holy of Holies, that part of the tabernacle. So the Kohen, or the Kohanim, is the plural word, but a Kohen is the unique priest who get to do that. Now, the tribe of Levi was divided up into other groups, and they had jobs like assembling and disassembling the tabernacle, transporting the tabernacle, taking care of all the parts and the furnishings and so forth. But only the Kohen, only the Kohanim were allowed to be the ones to offer sacrifices, and out of which comes the high priest, which the first one, by the way, was Aaron. And so that's why he's saying, it said, don't you think it's, you're not satisfied with having been selected from all of the nation of Israel to be the ones that actually get to work here in the tabernacle? That's not special enough for you? You guys think you have to be a little more special than that? You know, the only reason why, what Moses is saying, is the only reason why we have special privileges is simply because God anointed us. God called us. And so we each have a calling. And we each must follow the calling that God has given us. And that's true for us too in life right now. So he says this, okay, so the next morning, they all got up, and some of them, by the way, said, we're not going to come up. He wanted them all to appear at the tabernacle so that God would reveal who is and who isn't the ones that he was going to listen to. So Moses sent to summon Datan and Abiram and the sons of Eliab, but they replied, we won't come up. Is it such a mere trifle, bringing us up from a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the desert, that now you arrogate yourself the role of dictator over us? You haven't at all brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, and you haven't put us in possession of fields and vineyards. Do you think you can gouge out these men's eyes and blind them? We won't come up. Now, the accusation they're making is that, hey, you were supposed to lead us into the land of promise, and you failed to do it, so you're not so special. Of course, they're overlooking the fact that Moses led them right to the edge of the promised land, and they sent in spies, and rather than believe the truth that they could go in and conquer the land, they chose to disbelieve God. And now they're claiming it's Moses' fault that they can't go into the promised land. It was God who punished them for their lack of belief. He said, because of your unbelief, you will not enter into the land. So now they're blaming Moses for their own unbelief instead of taking responsibility for their lack of belief. Isn't that true what a lot of us do? That's kind of interesting, don't you think? So Moses is very angry, and then he says this to Adonai. This is in verse 15. He said, don't accept their grain offering. I haven't taken one donkey from them. I've done nothing wrong to any of them. Moshe said to Korach, you and your group, you be there before Adonai tomorrow. You, they, and Aharon, each of you take his fire pan and put incense in it. Every one of you bring before Adonai his fire pan, 250 fire pans. You two and Aaron, each one his fire pan. So each man took his fire pan, put fire in it, and laid incense on it, and stood at the entrance of the tent of meeting with Moshe and Aaron. Korach assembled all the group who were against them at the entrance of the tent of meeting. That's 250 men. Remember, this is a bunch. And they're all Levites. Then the glory of Adonai appeared to the whole assembly. And Adonai said to Moshe and Aaron, separate yourselves from this assembly. I'm going to destroy them right now. They fell on their faces and said, oh, God of the spirits of all humankind, if one person sins, are you going to be angry with the entire assembly? Adonai answered Moshe, tell the assembly to move away from the homes of Korach, Datan, and Abiram. Moshe got up and went to Datan and Abiram, and the leaders of Israel followed him. There he said to the assembly, leave the tents of these wicked men. Don't touch anything that belongs to them, or you may be swept away in all their sins. So they moved away from all around the area where Korach, Datan, and Abiram lived. Then Datan and Abiram came out and stood at the entrance to their tents with their wives, sons, and little ones. And Moshe said, here is how you will know that Adonai has sent me to do all these things, that I haven't done them out of my own ambition. If these men die a natural death like other people, only sharing the fate common to all humanity, then Adonai has not sent me. But if Adonai does something new, if the ground opens up and swallows them with everything they own, and they go down alive to Sheol, then you will understand that these men have contempt for Adonai. The moment he finished speaking, the ground under them split apart. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, and all the people who had sided with Korach and everything they owned. So they and everything they owned went down alive in the Sheol. The earth closed over them, and their existence in the community ceased. All Israel around them fled, and their shrieks, shouting, the earth might swallow us too. Then fire came out from Adonai and destroyed the 250 men who had offered the incense. Man, there's a lesson right there in chapter 16, don't you think? When you start to thinking that you're something special, maybe you're just being arrogant. And when you rebel against God's people, God's leaders, and think that it's their fault that you lacked belief, maybe there's a lesson that we should learn how to take responsibility for our own actions, for our own lack of belief, and the consequences that we suffer for our lack of belief. They're not the leader's fault. They're our own fault. And so here, in a horrible way, the rebellion of Korah ended with the land opening up and swallowing Korah and all those who followed him, and then the fire from Adonai coming out and burning all 250 men, killing them and destroying them. Maybe there's a lesson we should learn there about taking responsibility for our own actions. What do you think?